By the grace of God I am what I am. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 10. God has a great and high purpose in saving us, that is to make us princes and kings in the coming new creation. All those who are redeemed by the precious blood of the Lord Jesus have that privilege, Revelations 5-9, 10. For that purpose, the Lord has made His grace available for all our needs, shortcomings and weaknesses. By coming before His throne of grace we can receive His grace. Whatever may be our trial, temptation, affliction or hardship, His grace is sufficient for us. Our need may be like a great mountain, and yet the Lord Jesus Christ Himself invites us to come boldly before His throne of grace with faith. Hebrews chapter 4 verse 16. That is why we have to learn more and more about God's grace and how to obtain and enjoy it. We begin our Christian life only by His grace, and not by any human qualification. God demands everlasting righteousness. There is no comparison between God's righteousness and our righteousness. None of us has the least qualification to receive this great salvation. It is only by God's grace and our faith in the efficacy of the precious blood of the Lord Jesus Christ that we can obtain this salvation, Ephesians chapter 2 verses 5, 8, and show forth God's glory and grace. The Apostle Paul testifies in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 10, "But by the grace of God I am what I am." That means, whatever he did or suffered for the Lord was only by God's grace. As a God's servant, Paul went through many afflictions. Then he testified later on, "Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong." Thus we find that all our afflictions are allowed by God to teach us the meaning of His grace and enable us to enjoy it. Even the weakest believer in the whole world can become strong by claiming His grace. We need not feel sad or downcast for our weaknesses or shortcomings, because we have bold access to the throne of grace. For our sake the Lord went through every possible temptation and yet was without sin. That is why He is now interceding for us for all our human weaknesses. When I find my strength failing, and my temptation too much for me, and my faith becoming weaker and weaker, and doubts fill my heart, I say, "Lord Jesus Christ, Thou art my high priest, kindly intercede on my behalf and lift me up. Now grant me Thy abundant grace." He gives me boldness, faith and strength. Please realize your heavenly calling. However weak you may be, the Lord has made every provision to bring you to His throne. If you have any doubt, claim the intercessory ministry of the high priest, the Lord Jesus Christ. Believe that He faced the same temptations which you are facing. He knows exactly what you are going through and His grace is fully sufficient. May the Lord teach us to claim that grace for our heavenly calling.